All right. Well, here we go with another podcast. Are you ready, Valerie?
The Valerie and Benny.
The Valerie and Benny podcast and the WAD timer turning
I was
on.
like, what is that? It's like
Sorry.
if it was we were in a CrossFit gym.
Yes, exactly. Okay, sorry. This is the Valerie and Benny Living Your Best Life podcast. And we are, it's like a totally new podcast today
Because we switch places.
we switched seats.
I know if you're watching this, then you notice we are in different spots.
We're in different spots. It's not your head.
And it took me quite a while to be okay with it.
Yes, this is going to be a separate podcast. It was seriously
I was
as
like,
if I was asking her
my
if she wanted
microphone,
to be a trans man. That's what it sounded. That's how long it took her to decide to switch sides.
Oh my God.
Okay, so yeah, it was a huge deal.
So what's going on?
Well, first of all, I would want to say we're glad you guys are with us, living your best What is it? Living your best life. Living your best life. That's what we want to do, is live our best life.
Yes.
And Iggy's here. Iggy is our sound guy. Hello, Iggy.
Hello, Iggy.
Hello.
Hello. Iggy's a man of
He's
many
just-
words.
He laughs, but I think he laughs at us, not with us.
I think that's quite certain. Anyway, we're grateful that he's here. He does the stuff behind the scenes. And this is the podcast where we...
One of us brings a subject or topic, and the other one has no idea what we're going to talk about.
No idea what we're going to talk about. So today, Valerie is going to give us a topic. But before we get to that, how are you?
I am so good. I feel like that sounded like I was drunk.
Yeah, it did a little bit. I was like, what's in that thing?
That was weird.
I'm so good.
No, because guess what? We
Chicken
are
butt.
a week from today, so we will not be podcasting next Friday because I will be in Europe. I will be cruising. So for those of you guys that don't know, my daughter Kylie is a princess, and I say that. I say that with all sincerity, actually.
So my sister is a queen. You have to give more
So
details. right?
Kylie works for Disney. She started, just a backstory, she started working at Disneyland, and she was Jasmine, Esmeralda. I mean, not Esmeralda there. She was Elena. But anyway, so then she ended up getting a contract in Tokyo, and we went and saw her there. And then COVID hit. So then she came home, didn't do anything, and then they called her one day for a cruise, a substitution for Jasmine on a Disney cruise, and she's like
the walking around
"Yeah."
person, like the-
yes,
the-
the greeter, a greeter princess. So she was Jasmine, and that was what, maybe 5 or 6 months ago. She had a 3-month contract with them, and then she auditioned to be a performer. So now she's on Disney Cruise performing, and she will be performing in 3 different shows, and I'm just so excited to see her. So that just gave Peter and I that nudge, like, okay, go take a cruise, go to Europe, go see your daughter.
Well, that's the cool
So-
thing, is that when she did the, you didn't mention this, but that's okay. But when she was, what was she? Whenever she was that person that walks around, she was in the
Jasmine.
Caribbean. She was in the Caribbean.
Yes.
And then now, this time she's in
Europe.
In Europe. And
Yes.
so, can I give my side of the story, even though you're of our story?
Yes,
And then
please
you can
do.
keep going.
Please.
No. On my side is that when we found out our niece is going to be performing, because I don't know if you listeners are aware, but performing on Disney, I mean, it's a Broadway type show.
Yes.
It's a really big show. It's not like
Exactly.
your little mom and poppy show.
Right.
And so we were just excited with the idea that we could go see her perform, and at the same time, obviously, it would be a good vacation. And we assumed it was in the Caribbean,
Right.
because that's where,
That's
she,
where
was
she was
last
last
time. And
time,
so we
yeah.
just assumed it. We didn't really care, because we thought cruise, Caribbean, whatever,
Yeah.
it's going to be nice. Disney does things well. And we just thought, it would be fun, and we're going to get to see our niece perform. And then she told us it was in Europe.
Yeah.
And,
She's so, I mean, can you imagine like being a princess and then traveling the world and getting paid for it? I mean, she's doing what she wanted to be. She always wanted to be in musical theater. So here she is doing this and traveling and cruising and just meeting people. I think she's made so many good friends.
So
doing
tell
that.
us where you're going.
So we fly to Barcelona, and we're there for a day only. And then we cruise to France first, which we it's also confusing to me because the way Kylie explains it, there's two places that you can, they kind of tell you like it's con, but you go to either what did I say, Florence or Pisa?
No,
And
that's Italy.
oh, see, that's how much I know. Wait, what's oh, see, you shouldn't have asked me this question.
I'm sorry. You're going to France and you're going to Italy and you're going
Okay,
to...
so no, and that's it.
Oh.
So we have we have one stop in France, and then we have 3 stops in Italy.
3 stops in Italy.
Yeah.
Which you told me that you're gonna see the Sistine Chapel
in
Rome.
Yes. And so that's really our only tour that's booked.
Yeah. And just so you listeners also know, we've actually toyed with the idea of going on cruises together.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but when I found out, like, to go to see Kylie, I was like, I don't want to go on a cruise with you to go see Kylie for 2 reasons. One is you guys won't want to spend any time with us. You're going to want to spend time with your daughter that you haven't seen in months and you won't see for several months. And then the other thing is that this is kind of funny, but I did think this, although not like she's dying to see her Uncle B and Aunt Patty. But on the other hand, I was like, also, this gives her another week of having
for sure.
family.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
And grandma's coming. So,
Yeah.
Mija, grandma is, that's what my kids call my mom, is
that's
also
nice that you're
going with
taking
us.
mom because, and I agree. This is our first cruise together, Peter and I, and of course, obviously going to Europe and then seeing our daughter and hanging with our daughter when she doesn't have to work. So I was very appreciative that you were okay taking it another day. Plus, it really is. She has people that are coming to see her, and she's marked off. Okay, this is when I have people coming. This is when I have people coming. So it's very cool.
I'm very glad.
Yeah.
So we are leaving to Barcelona in a couple weeks from yesterday. So we're spending a couple days in Barcelona, and then we literally, that's so fun that we're going to actually well, I don't know if we're going to get to connect,
Maybe,
but
hopefully.
Literally they're getting off the ship and we're getting on the ship.
Yes, same day, just hours apart. So we're hoping we can connect in Barcelona and at least have maybe a small meal or a coffee or something, just so we can high five each other and take a picture.
Yeah,
we were all here together.
Exactly. And next week, our next time that we connect, Valerie just mentioned that we're not recording one, but you still will get a fresh episode in October. It's because we've recorded a couple in advance. So
yeah. So this trip that we are actually talking about right now, by the time you hear this, we will have done it a couple months ago.
Yeah, exactly.
But
the great thing, Patty and I are doing the same. Obviously going on the cruise, and we're obviously going to Barcelona because that's where it ends for Valerie and starts for Valerie.
Starts for you.
But it starts for you there too. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So it starts for us there, and then we go to another place in Spain, right, Patty? We go to another place in Spain, and then we go to Portugal. Then we go to France, where we're going to get to see Normandy. Patty's so very excited about seeing that. That's a joke. She doesn't care about history, but I'm super excited about that. And then are we going anywhere else?
You guys end up in England, though,
but
right?
We end up in England. Our cruise ends in England. So we've been to Europe a couple times, but we've never gone to Europe,
cool.
England. And so we're super excited. We're going to go see the Stonehenge. Is it Henge or Hedge? Stonehenge. And then we're going to London, and we're going to do the London Eye, I'm going to call it a Ferris wheel.
I was just going to say
really
Ferris wheel, but it's not a Ferris wheel. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're super excited. So that's going to be fun. And we're also coming up on 4th of July. Do you have any 4th of July plans?
Yes, we do. Kelly finally got her pool put in. So we're going to do a big barbecue pool party there. It took them 2 years to get this pool in because of COVID and the lumber. And then they also live on a hill that they had to make sure everything was done properly. So I think it's even longer than 2 years, to be honest. But from the start of drawing the plans until now, it's definitely longer than 2 years, but 2 years in the making. So anyway, yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. We still are figuring it out, but we're going to cook a brisket. I know that. Yeah. We're going to cook a really good, I love smoking meat.
Oh God, your briskets are so good.
Yeah, they are good. So we're excited about that, but I'm excited for you guys. I'm really excited because I know it's your first time going to Europe. So I think
Yeah.
it's going to be.
I know it's so funny
amazing.
because Kylie said to me, "Mommy, you have to figure out where you want to go once we get to France, and then when we get to Italy." And I was like, it's so weird. It's like a second. I was excited we're taking a cruise and excited to see my daughter and like, oh yeah, that's right. We have stops in Europe that we're going to go see.
Really
like
cool
it was like,
places, and
yeah.
really cool
And so
places.
it's obviously like, I mean, up until maybe a day or two ago, that's why I was just saying when you asked me where we're going, it's like, I really haven't even researched it with like looking at the cruises and dates and like, okay, that's the one. Not really paying attention to where we're actually going. So
Yeah.
just in the last day or two, we've been doing that. So that's very exciting now.
Well, Italy.
I'm really nervous that I'm going to like not have enough clothes. I know I'm going to overpack and then I'm going to say, oh, I don't really need that. And then I'm going to be there and go, I need that. So
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not a tennis shoe girl. So I'm going to be wearing like sandals and stuff like that. But then do I want to wear a wedge or do I want to wear a flat one? And then at night, do I want to wear more of a heel?
What
And
the,
then do I
what
want,
the hell's a wedge?
it's an adaptogen. I'm just kidding. No, a wedge is like it's like you have the whole shoe there's no like heel, like a spiked or anything like that. It's like a base, like a platform. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Golly, it sounds like a different podcast, to be honest with you.
But that's my
wear a
concern.
wedge.
I have all these clothes in the extra room, like what I want to take. And then I'm just like, okay, I know that's a lot, but I might need it. So, and then shoes to go with everything. And then maybe another pair of shoes to go with it in case I want to take those off and put another one on. Yeah, so much to think about. I'm just
So I'm taking 3 pairs of shorts and about 8 shirts, and I'm taking my Birkenstocks.
there you go.
2 different kinds of Birkenstocks.
wow, okay.
Water ones and land ones.
Oh, see, and bathing suits. We have to have multiple bathing suits
Yeah.
because you have to.
Well,
just in case.
I'm taking workout pants that are bathing
Oh, I
suits.
am gonna. Oh, hybrid ones.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that yet.
what they're called.
I guess they are hybrid. I think of hybrid as being like battery operated like in a car. So I guess it is. Yeah.
You knew what I meant, right?
Yeah.
It was an adaptogen.
So I'm gonna wear hybrid. I'm gonna wear hybrid shorts. So because I work, I'll still have to work out because
Same.
Because I'm gonna eat like I will eat probably poorly. You probably won't.
I
eat
probably
poorly.
won't eat poorly, but I still like to move my body. So we already asked Kylie about the gym. She said the guest gym is great. Like their staff gym isn't that great, she said, but the guest gym is nice. So
Oh well, I'm looking
And
forward
then
to that.
walking
And
on
I
the
swim
top
now.
deck.
I've been swimming
I know.
now, so
you
I'm
probably
hoping that I
can't
can
really
swim.
swim. Did you see how many kids are in the pool?
No, there's an adult pool.
I thought there was just an adult bar
No,
or like
there's
area.
an adult pool.
Oh wait, maybe I did hear that.
So
Well, then you're going to be like, get out of my way. I'm going to do laps.
well, adult pools usually that's what they do. What else what do you do in adult
I
pool?
was
They're
sitting
not
there with a
playing.
cocktail. Who's taking laps and on vacation?
Oh, well, that's true. Well, me. So, because I'm gonna have to. I mean, when I say I'm gonna eat poorly, probably the more accurate thing is I'll overeat.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I'll eat poorly because I won't like eating
Mm-hmm.
junk food. But I will want to. I mean, if you get a really nice meal, I don't know if you know the rules on ships. We were told this. We went on a cruise 100 years ago, and they told us, hey, if they give you 2 options and you like both of them,
Take both.
take both.
Yeah.
You just say take both,
Yeah.
but you don't have to get the sides for both. But
Right.
like if they're doing
Like a
crab
fish
legs
and
and lobster,
yeah.
you can say I want both,
Sure.
and
And then you eat what you can.
and then you eat what
yeah.
you can. Well, my problem is I can eat everything.
You'll probably eat it all. Yeah.
And so I just need to.
Yeah. I'm never good at a buffet. Like you pay for a buffet and I go in and get my serving that I would eat if I made dinner at home. So it's such a waste of money for me. 'Cause
I agree. I actually am not good at buffets
Yeah.
either because especially when I'm trying to be good, and if it's normal food, if it's
Mm-hmm.
really really good food, then it's even gonna be more expensive. And yeah, but the thing is, when you're on a cruise, it'll be interesting. So I shouldn't have said I'm gonna eat poorly. What I really should have said is I'll probably eat more than I
Yeah.
really want to.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that goes. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway,
me.
yeah,
All
I
right.
love food. That's probably one of the things I'm looking forward to most. I actually forgot. I told Patty the other day. I was like, "Wait a minute, this is Disney Cruises. This is not like an adult thing."
Mm-hmm.
And then she was saying, "No, they have stuff." And,
Yeah.
And fortunately, I'm going to be back in school. Did you know that?
While you're there?
I start school the week I go on the cruise.
Oh no.
So I'm a little sad. So I have to hopefully talk to my professors, but at the same time, I'm going to definitely have to read a lot and
Yeah.
do certain things
Well, you could
because
do that by
otherwise
the
I'll get
pool.
way behind.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of it is just sitting around, right?
Yeah.
So if we're sitting around, I can read.
Yep.
So anyway, there you go.
Cool. All right. Well, sorry that we just bored you with our cruise life for 15 minutes.
No, that was a long time, but we taught you that you can eat 2 entrees at a
Yes.
cruise. So take that home.
A
Tell
good
your mom.
takeaway.
Journal it.
All right. So today's my day.
That's right.
I'm going to bring up a topic that is going to blow your mind.
It really does. I have to confess, we mentioned this beforehand, but I kind of like bringing the topic because I'm prepared.
I know.
So I get a little nervous.
No, I'm just kidding. You know what I have in mind, what I like to talk about. I do want to come back to like food and just health with clean food and that kind of stuff.
And estrogens.
One day, but no, that was adaptogens.
Oh, adaptogens.
Estrogens?
Estrogens. Excuse me. Never mind.
No, no. Here's my topic. I'm going to take my notes. See my old-fashioned notes here. If you're actually watching this and not, I write everything down on paper. I do not have like how you have your cute iPad and that weird little pencil thing. I don't do that stuff. Okay, Mike. I'll ask you a question to start it out with. Have you ever heard somebody say that they want to take the time to find themselves?
Yeah, something to that effect. Whether they wanna yeah. I mean, I'm not 100% sure because they usually say more than that, right? So
Yeah.
so I don't know what exactly.
Well, like I've heard like people, especially like moms that have their identity now has become like
oh right,
you know,
a mom.
yeah, I'm Nicole's mom, I'm Dustin's mom, I'm Kylie's mom, or I'm Peter's wife, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, where's Valerie? You know, because you're putting them in school. You're like, oh, I'm their mom. Oh, I'm, you know, you don't even get introduced a lot of times to people. They're like, oh, this is Kylie's mom, you know, and it's like, oh, and it's
Well,
Valerie.
we were raised, with a dad who was
Oh well, yeah,
well
and I was
known, very well
introduced-
known, and
yeah.
we were definitely, you were the oldest daughter, and I was the only son,
Yes.
and yeah, that's
Yeah.
the way we
Yeah.
were introduced.
So that said, I was thinking about this one day because somebody had said to me a long time ago, this is like even before we were talking about podcasts, but they were saying that they wanted to find themselves and they felt like they got lost and they needed to find themselves. And I was like, and way back before I was even more about, because now I'm more into self-care, but I was like, well, why don't you try to become yourself, which interprets today to what I want to talk about is recreating or creating yourself instead of trying to find yourself. So the reason I bring that up is because, a lot of times we feel like we're stuck and this is who I am. This is me, and so I was reading some stuff, and one of the things said our personalities are not permanent. We can change the way we are at any given time. And then it went on to say things like, when you say to somebody or your habitual life is something, like for an example, let's say you're not a confident person and somebody
Or maybe
can
you're
see,
shy.
and then people reiterate it. They're like, oh, well, you're so shy, or you're so quiet, or
Oh,
you're so,
right.
you don't have any confidence. And so then it's reiterated in your mind that you're that
Reinforced,
person.
like reinforced in your mind.
Reinforced.
Yeah.
And then, so for me, for an example,
Or they might even say, like a parent might introduce you, oh, this is my daughter. She's really shy.
she's so shy. Yeah. So it's reinforced. And so as you grow up, you have this like, you think I'm a shy person. You know what I mean? That's just who you are. Are you always going to be a shy person? If you want to be shy, then fine. If you don't want to be, there's a way to recreate yourself. And I learned this with my own thing. I don't like small talk. Like if I see somebody in the grocery store that I kind of know, it's like, ooh, I'm running down the other aisle because I don't want to just be, hi, how are you? Oh, how are the kids? I'm not good with this. I'm not good with it at all. Peter is amazing in small talk. He will find somebody out. Like he'll be like, oh my God, there's so-and-so. And he'll beeline it to go say hi to them, and then it is just small talk.
So for the listener, this is interesting. Peter and I graduated high school together, and it's so funny because he'll talk about all the high school friends, and I'm like, sadly, I have not kept in contact. Well, Facebook's been helpful. 'Cause
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
been more contact, but But yeah, Peter is really good at
Yes.
like the connection piece.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
And so, as not a small talker person, Peter has reinforced that into me too, because we'll walk away from something that I'm like, oh no, I don't really want to say hi to them. And then he'll say, oh, you're just so, you don't like small talk. So then you go, there it is. It's reinforced. Well, I decided that I was going to change that part of me because I wanted to be connecting with people that maybe are, just acquaintances or whatever, And so, so I just started to try to, I guess, quote unquote, recreate myself in that way. And so, like in your life, Benny, do you think that there's something that you are like, it's just your personality and it is what it is? Or do you think that there's something that you can change, with that?
So things that have like marked me, like I am this way, the X way, whatever the way is. Yeah, I definitely feel like there's things that have marked me. So, I feel like I'm in this journey right now, even, still in a journey because, I was a pastor for 25 years. And although my feelings toward God are not any different, my presentation is much different.
Yeah.
It is very, it's weird because I like the person I am right now. I like what I've become but at the same time, when I find myself encountering people from my past, I don't know if the right word is I revert back, but it's interesting because I start to, it's easy to go, wait
Just
a
get
minute, they
comfortable
know
right
me
into
this
this.
way. They
Yeah,
know me this
yeah.
way and I need to be that
Yeah.
way. And so, I mean, I'm giving you so non-descriptors. So maybe like one thing I shouldn't be proud of this, but it is just the way I am now. I find cuss words very descriptive at times for the way I feel.
Oh.
And so my point is that I'm much more willing to cuss. I'm much more willing, if I'm feeling a certain way and a word fits it,
Yeah.
then that's what I say.
Right.
And I don't want to be. It's weird because at the same time that I don't want to be offensive, I also want to be me. And there's a fine line. I don't want to go into a new podcast, so I don't want to change it. But
yeah, and I'm going to stop you because I feel like
go.
I get what you're saying and I get where you're going with that. But my intention with the question was more like, is there something in your personality that you think, this is my personality and I can't change it, even though it is something that you actually want to change, but you're just very like for an example, like let's just say Peter with his temper, he's very, very open to say that he has a temper. And I would never say that he doesn't have a temper anymore, except what's different from today than it was before in the past is because now he knows how to control the temper. I think you always have it, but you have a choice to change that if you want to. Do you know what I mean? Like it's an alcoholic, you're like always going to be an alcoholic, but you're not partaking in alcohol at this particular time kind of thing. So
what's weird is, Patty, you got to help me out on this thing. This is not a personality. This is a personality thing, but it's not very deep. It's pretty shallow.
it doesn't have to be.
But one thing is I just talk too much.
Mm-hmm.
I just talk too much. And I have to ask Patty, after we've had conversations with people, okay, how did I do?
Yeah.
Because I just talk a lot. And there are times that I think I did wonderful. And she's like, not so much. And then, she loves me. But, and it's not very deep, but what I will say is when I'm around someone who talks a lot, sometimes I'm like, I get a little annoyed. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe it's because I want to be the talker a lotter.
You're like, he's taking over the time.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe that's the reason why. But I also know that it can be annoying when somebody just keeps and talking and talking and talking. And I always think, well, I'm the exception because everything I'm saying is like
good.
outstanding. Everybody, they want to hear it. Now, they're probably recording it for later listening. So that's the way.
But I mean, if you want to be that person where you don't talk a lot, do you just say, well, that's just who I am. I talk a lot. Or do you think that you could recreate
I'd say to myself, this is me personally, what I try to do, and I'm not going to say I'm remotely successful at it. What I try to say is listen.
Yes.
Really. So I try to take the contrary action.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to say, okay, if I don't want to talk all the time, then what I really need to be doing is listening.
Mm-hmm.
And what I need to be doing is asking questions
Yes.
rather than, sharing whatever it is that's on my mind.
Because a lot of times people that talk a lot are people that are not really listening because they're trying to think of what they're going to say next.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, that's probably one of the biggest things that I try to do is that. I mean, there's other areas of my life that I feel that I've worked on, I've never shared this, but I'm in a 12-step program to help me with stuff. And so so certainly I would rather, I don't share a lot of details because it affects not just me, it affects family members and everything else. But I'm just going to say that if I didn't have to be in that 12-step program, it would be great. But the 12-step program has made me who I am now. I'm 7 years sober, and I'm very, I'm very happy. I'm very content. I'm very at peace, and I'm still figuring out who I am.
Yes.
But so I can say that's a whole area of my life that is definitely an area that,
you recreated.
Yeah, I guess you can say I recreated it.
Yeah.
Or I am recreating it.
And that's kind of what I just wanted to talk about, because I remember talking to that girl, like I said, it was so many years ago. And I just remember thinking, like, finding yourself means that you're going to find it. Like in my mind, I'm thinking, then you're going to be there. But then what? Like, I feel like we could always be recreating ourselves because we evolve. You know what I mean? We don't have to be like, there's an end to, this is me, this is my personality, and I can't change it because I found the end. I feel like every time, like, I don't think that you would have thought to yourself, 7 years ago, like, I'm going to go and be a different person. It's just like the way life happens. Now you started to recreate yourself in a different way.
Well, you are absolutely correct in that case. So for those that don't and are not familiar with 12-step programs, I don't know how familiar you are with 12 steps, but what's interesting about it is there's things that you read and traditions that you do, and the long story short is one of the things we read at times is called the promises. And I remember when I first read them, the first couple, or I should say I heard them or read them or whatever, in the first couple of years of being in program, they were foreign because it was like I was still working this stuff out.
Right.
And then I remember, I can't tell you when, but it was several years in, and somebody read the promises, and I was like, I'm experiencing that right now.
Right.
But what was interesting is I wasn't trying to get the promises.
Right.
But like, I guess what you're going for is I was rewiring myself to do certain things and honestly take contrary action and do certain things that made it so that ultimately, as a result of my transformation, I started experiencing the promises.
Yeah. And I think that kind of ties into what I was going to say. Like, the more you do something and the more you like, because, like, okay, for an example, like for somebody that's not confident or like shy or whatever, I'm going to read what I wrote down here. Like, the first thing I think you need to do was something that, like, kind of falling into what you were just saying, is if you're not a confident person, or if you're somebody that has a temper, or like me that, I don't like self-talk or small talk, is like, you have to tell yourself that you are these people. Like, stop saying, oh, I'm not a confident person, or I'm not, start saying, I am confident. Start saying, I am not shy. I love small talk. Like, change the tune so it's no longer, don't tell yourself you have a bad temper. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just say, so that's a kind of like the first thing I would do is just to tell it. You have to tell yourself to believe it. And then you need to act like that person. So suddenly, don't walk into a room with your head down, with your like, oh my gosh, I hope people don't talk to me. If you want to be confident, you walk in with your head held high. You make eye contact with people. Don't put your head down. Keep, that kind of thing. And for me, that would be, I'm going to act like I like small talk. So I'm going to reach out to, if I don't see anybody familiar in like the grocery store, I'm going to make small talk with the cashier. And then, because I'm going to act like I'm that person. And then eventually those things kind of become habit. So this kind of goes
back to you taking a walk and Peter saying hi to the person
that
walks by.
Yes, that is true too. Because I was not comfortable with that at first. It took me a lot. I was actually kind of anxious about it. And now I have
for the listener who hasn't
very
heard,
easy to do for me.
Yeah. For the reader or listener who hasn't heard previous podcasts, Valerie was mentioning that Peter walks, when they take a walk in the neighborhood, he says hi to everybody who walks by. And Valerie was like, oh, that's weird. And then she started doing it. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So, and then like, I remember back in the day, Kylie was starting musical theater at the time. So she was doing, musical theater.
Yeah.
But she was on stage in front of a lot of people and strangers. But she had a very hard time doing an oral presentation in a classroom. And she would get very anxious about it. And I mean, I'm not going to get into complete details. This is her story. But there was a time that she was so anxious about it that I had to talk to her through it all. And I finally just said to her, act like you like. I mean, I was even saying this back in the day. Act like you like to do oral presentations. Act like it's a character. Go up there as a character. You have no problem getting on stage and being a character in front of these people. Pretend you're somebody as you go up there and do it. And so that just kind of tied into what I was like thinking about for this podcast, because I was like, it's so hard to do. So you almost have to just play the part. And then eventually, if this is what you want, if you're okay that you're, a shy person or you have a temper or whatever it is, I'm using these as examples, but I'm just saying, if you're okay with what it is, then fine. But if there's something that you want to change, then you can. You're like I said, the personality isn't a permanent thing.
I love the fact that what you're saying, because I guess where you're going and what I hear and what's good for me and is a good reminder is that I think sometimes we live life. I'm a very routine person, so I like routines because in the routine I don't have to think.
Exactly.
I just do.
Yeah.
And then that gives me honestly more creative time for the things that I want to do, because all the, for lack of a better word, like I'm just going to focus on morning routines, night routines, meal routines. It's like I know what I'm going to do, but then that gives me quote unquote creative space outside of that. But I say all that to say that if you are a person who is stuck and you're kind of feeling like, God, I'm so stuck in my routines. That's all I do is my routines. But I really don't want this. I want something different to begin to act like it. It's interesting that you say this. I posted a post not long ago about, I can't even remember what I posted about, to be honest with you. But what was interesting is the comment the person made was a person made a comment and they said, right now I'm struggling, like apparently when they were writing it, right now I'm struggling because I want and I know that I need to work out, but instead of working out, I'm sitting here eating chips or whatever.
And looking at Instagram.
She said. Yeah, exactly. And so what was interesting is, and I commented without thinking very much, I said, the first step is the hardest step.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because once you take the first step, all of a sudden for me, it's so funny because people know that I work out almost 7 days a week. I would say I work out 7 days a week, but usually the 6th and 7th is not
as
crazy
hardcore,
intense. Yeah. But I always find myself having to do something. I just have to, it's just the way I feel.
Yeah.
But the fact that I do that doesn't mean that I enjoy it all the time. I'm not like thinking, yay, it's time to work out every single time. But I just know that once I do it,
you're going to feel so much
good.
Better. Yeah.
But it's that first step. Once I go, okay, I'm doing it, which includes changing my clothes and doing, or if it matter of getting up or whatever it is. But it's like, it's taking the first step.
What's funny? It's because you saying that is the same thing with me just going to the gym. Like there's a lot of times I'm so tired and I'm like, okay, I don't know if I want to do this. And some days I give myself grace and go, you don't have to. Don't.
Exactly.
But more often than not, I still get my clothes on. I get ready to leave, and then I tell myself, if you get to the gym and you still don't feel like doing it, you can turn around and go home. But taking that first step and getting yourself there, you're like, I'm here, I'm doing it. And you feel so much better when you do it. And it becomes a routine. And like you said, even though it's like, I'm not going, yay, I get to go work out. It's like, it's my routine. It's my habit. It's comfortable because it was harder the very first time to do it. But like, for an example too, I always take the classes, and I've lately been just going over to the weight side. Like I take 3 classes a week, and then I go over to the weight side and do weights now. And because it's very important for me to just like protect my aging bones and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I really want to be strong. And so anyway, I go over there. But the first time I did it, I was like, I felt so out of place because I'm working out with guys that are just like,
That's what they do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, here I am with my little dumbbells, you know, and am I even doing this right? And then I just had to get out of my head and just go, you know what? You're there. Who cares? They don't even care that you're right there. Like,
That's
honestly,
right.
you know what I mean?
For the most part, they
yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Especially at our age. to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah. Exactly. They're like, good for her, that old lady over there.
But you know what's so funny about what you're saying? The whole thing that you're saying, though, is if you're trying to stick with the personality change. So I think that the point that I was trying to get to is it's that first step.
It is.
It's not. The actual journey itself. Like, in other words, you were talking about you being more interactive on a I don't want to say surface level because I don't think you're going to ever be
It's
surface.
just small talk.
I just
it's
mean
I would
getting,
never
not being
I'm never
afraid of the small
Yeah,
talk.
I'm never a surface level person. Once I do engage, it's genuine.
Right.
I just sometimes don't want to. You know, it's
Yeah,
like, oh, I don't want to
exactly.
just talk about nothing. I want to, you know.
Yeah, and so, but the fact that you do it. So the thing is that I'm guessing. I'm not going to speak for you, but well, yes, I am. Once you once you do it, it's the same thing. Whatever that journey is that
Yeah.
you're doing, it's like it's that first step.
Yep.
And that first step can mean moving across the room. It can mean actually going somewhere that
Yeah.
you didn't want to go.
Exactly.
It's interesting that you say that. I don't know if this is a Gonzalez family trait then, because I'm not good at it. I'm great. What's interesting is I'm great at small talk. I'm super good at just hanging out with people. And I'm definitely the person that's like, hey, hi, who did it? But, and I could talk about, more accurately, I could joke about anything
Sure.
and kind of just get
Yeah.
into it. But I don't enjoy it. It might
Yeah,
look like
yeah,
I
yeah.
enjoy it, but it's not like I go.
And
"Oh,
I think
can
that's and I think that's why I don't do it, because I want it to be genuine. I don't want to just, you know what? I don't want to shoot the shit, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
But when I do talk to somebody, then I'm there and I'm gonna do it. But you're right. It's just like I'd rather get into deep conversations, just that like, oh, how are the kids? You know, oh, so I just say, okay, forget it. I'm gonna.
Right. And it's not even like when you say, and I think you're the same way. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not even like I intentionally want to. I don't go up to somebody and say, so tell me your deepest, worst nightmare, you know, and how we can talk about that right now. It's just that if all they say is, oh, how are you? Or I'm good. And I'm like, okay, I'm bored.
Right.
Let's just move on.
Right.
And so my natural propensity is the person says, oh, work is really tough. Well, then I go, oh, what's going on?
Right.
And then I want to get into what's
Right.
going on with work and how is that going? And then
Right.
and then the next thing you know, it's a little bit of coaching and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to get a client as much as I'm just going, I love the fact
Engaging with someone.
that,
Yeah.
and if I share something and they go, and it's not always comfortable, because when people are telling you, man, I see this in you, then, but at the same time, it's like, I feel good. I
Yeah.
feel like that was like a powerful
Right.
conversation.
Right.
If we just talk about the weather, I'm bored.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it doesn't leave
I
a
just
mark.
want, and I do, and that is something like for myself, like I always have said, I'm just not a small talker, and I don't, you know, and I decided I don't want to define myself like that anymore. So I'm just going to say that I don't enjoy small talking, but you know what? I'm going to start engaging in it because it's something that
What do you think are some of the most common things that people like our listeners might be dealing with that they think that they're stuck? This is how they are. I think, okay, I'm just going to name a few off the top of my head. I'm not active. I don't work out. I eat poorly.
Yeah.
And
and they're defining themselves with these things.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're
I
defining
can't
themselves.
work out.
I can't work out. There you
yeah.
go. So I can't work out. I'm never going to eat well. I'm never going to have a relationship.
Right.
I'm never going to have a long-term
Yep.
good relationship.
I'm never going to get married.
I'm
Yeah.
never going to get married.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have kids. I'm never going to have kids.
I have ugly hair. I mean, just like
I have
things
ugly
like
hair.
that. Yeah.
My body is this.
Yeah.
I'm stuck.
Right.
And not pretty. I'm never gonna. I mean, I'm just naming some things.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm depressed, and I will be depressed.
Yep.
Can you think of anything else?
No, that's good. I'm glad you did that.
No, but I think
No, but it's
good
true, because
you
there are-
might be listening right now. People might be listening, and you're thinking, "This is me,"
Yeah.
and I'm stuck.
And I'm stuck because this is who I am. But if it's not who you want to be, I challenge you to try to recreate yourself.
Yeah.
And-
What were
and-
those steps again that you said?
Well, for me, I think it's to tell yourself that you are that person. So instead of saying I'm not a workout person, no, tell yourself that you are. And then act like you are. Take the step to do it and act like you are the person that likes to go work out. And obviously, these are just examples.
And you could take a small step.
Study
You don't have
people.
to take
exactly.
a huge
And
step.
go walk around the block.
Exactly.
Yeah. Study people who you see, and this isn't like an envy or jealousy thing, but see somebody that, like, if it is a confident thing and you're not confident or you're shy, and you see somebody has that quality, they're very confident, they're very outgoing, if you will, and study that person, see how they walk in the room, see how they engage with somebody, and then try to apply some of those things
Yeah.
into your own life, and then keep applying that action. And then kind of my bottom line was just that we aren't stuck. We just have to commit to doing the work. Eventually it's just second nature, and it is who we are.
Yeah, I love the fact that you're saying it's second work. In 12-step programs, we say take contrary action. And so the point is, my normal action is I don't get up early. Get up early.
Yeah. Yes.
And a lot of people might say, well, how do I do that? There is
You-
no special trick.
No, you put an alarm on and you turn it off and get yourself out of the bed.
That's it. And
Yeah.
you just say, I can do this.
Yeah.
And then I like what you're
Yeah.
saying in terms of it's a mentality thing. It's not just you don't need a different alarm.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need anything. You just need the willpower and not the willpower even, because you just need
It's a
the
commitment.
decisive, the
Yes.
commitment to
Yeah.
say, okay, I'm going to get up.
Yeah.
Likewise, working out. I'm using some examples that are in our lives. I hope that it relates to you. You can choose whatever you want.
Right. No, it's true.
Whatever your issue is, like I love the idea of just relationship issues and committing to connecting with people.
I think a lot. I think, and I bring up temper because we know a few people that have tempers in our lives, and anger and what have you. And I think that is a huge one. If you deal with anger, it is something that you can. It's like an ongoing thing though, because
Right.
if it is in you, it is very hard to just say, okay, I'm not going to be angry anymore. But if you start telling yourself, I'm not somebody with a temper, try to believe what you're saying, and then obviously with things like that, you might have to do a little more studying, maybe get a little counseling, maybe read up on it a little bit, do some meditating. Stuff, but all I'm trying to
Meditation
say,
is super good.
yeah, but I'm just trying to say it doesn't have to define you forever. Like,
That's right.
try to act differently.
There's a story that you're telling yourself, and the end result of that story is I am X person.
Exactly.
And the point is, you don't have to have that story.
Yes.
Because more often than not, well, I'm going to do this one day in a podcast. I'm not going to tell you when because I'm going to surprise you. But the thing that's fascinating is that what the way we feel controls our actions. The way we actually feel. Like if you feel like I'm going to be rejected at this party,
Yes.
then you're going to act like you're rejectable.
Gonna be rejected.
Yeah, you're going
Exactly.
to act that way.
Totally.
So, and the fact of the matter is, the reason why you feel like that is probably because of a story you're telling
Yes.
yourself, a story that I'm not good enough,
Yeah.
I don't relate to these people, da da da.
Yeah.
And those aren't facts.
Yeah.
Those are opinions that you've planted in your mind. The fact is, these people are just all here to party and have a good
Exactly.
time.
Exactly.
And you now are there, and you have place. So I'm so sorry. I'm going to just get into the weeds. So if you see a tree, you can say that's
You're
a tree.
literally getting into the weeds.
Yeah. So, so if you see a tree, it's a tree, right?
Right.
But the moment you say it's a pretty tree,
Right.
you've created an opinion.
Yes.
It's no longer just a fact. You have
Exactly.
decided, you have made an opinion about it.
Exactly.
Well, from a life standpoint, a lot of times we see a circumstance. It's a party with a bunch of people. Then we say to ourselves, oh, these people don't want to have anything to do with us. That is my opinion. Well, that opinion is going to create a thought and then ultimately a feeling of I feel rejected and I don't feel connected. And now I'm not going to be
Engage.
outgoing
And I'm not
and
gonna-
engaging
exactly,
in the party.
exactly.
Well, we could choose to author a totally different thought and
Right.
say, I am going to have a good time at
Yes.
this party.
Yes.
And I am going to enjoy the company of whoever.
Yeah.
And now we can't. If you say they are going to enjoy me, you got a problem.
No,
because we
it's
can't
on you.
control other
It's
people.
we have to do the work. We
That's right.
have to do the work.
I am going to enjoy myself. I am going to dance. I am going to talk. I am going to do those things.
And it's one of those things where I think that, especially if you're going to use the party time, I think that you the workout's done.
Workout's done. Go for it.
No, just real quick. It's one of those things, like if you are that person that, like you're talking about the party and walking in and stuff, you probably almost have to tell yourself before you get there, I am going to talk to 2 people.
That's right.
I am going to make myself walk over and ask.
Setting yourself a small goal.
Yes, a small goal.
Yeah.
Even if you have to just say, I'm going to talk to 1 person. But whatever it is, whatever you normally don't do, you need to take the step to make it a different experience for you at that moment.
That's right. Yeah. I love it. So if you're out there and you're struggling and you're thinking I'm stuck and this is who I am, you don't have to stick. You don't have to stick it.
You don't have to stick it.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie, by the way. Go ahead and check out Stick
No,
It. Okay.
you're not stuck.
You're not
You can recreate yourself.
Thank you, Valerie. We went a little long. Sorry, guys. Iggy, as usual, super grateful for you doing this thing. Hey, we would love for you to subscribe to our podcast. If you would recommend it, if you would comment about it, if you would give us questions. We're still looking
Yes.
for a true name.
And
maybe-
the questions, I was actually thinking about, if you have questions, we could do an entire podcast on just answering some questions.
That's true.
Like pick questions. So if there is any questions, please send them. And if you want to be anonymous in the question, please put that as well. But
Yeah. But we would love to hear from you. We're excited about this journey that we're on because this is a journey for us as well.
Yeah.
And so we're hoping that this is going to help you live your best life.
life. Yes.
Thank you, Valerie.
Thank you.
Have a great trip.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye. Ciao.